Hi all, we're Teddy's terrific tech team and we took part in Challenge 7. So what we started with was users can enter data into an observation app and using out-of-box solutions you can get a sentiment score. However, the issue with that is that the tools can sometimes not understand construction terms, British English, or sarcasm. So we set out to create a custom tool that would take into account these variables. And these were the type of comments that we had in the dataset. So what is sentiment analysis and how can we use it? So sentiment analysis then is the interpretation and classification of emotions, positive, negative, and neutral, within text data using text analysis techniques. Sentiment analysis allows us to identify the sentiment behind comments made within our dataset to better understand the engagement of employees on site. So our use case is I'm a construction manager and I want to better understand the level of engagement of my workforce so that I can maximize productivity whilst minimizing risk. So what was the process? We started off with 70,000 rows of data from the observation app, which is not enough for a deep analysis. So what we did was we created an app to get users to rate comments based on presence of sarcasm, construction terms, and to give a sentiment score of the comment. In addition, we also worked on improving the accuracy of the model so that it could better reflect the sentiment score. What we planned to do also was collect data from different data sources, for example, Amazon, Reddit, and Kaggle, and use this new data set of around 1.2 million rows to train the model. This is a representation of our idea. The way it would work is that we would receive observation data and put it into our model. Any entries that the model can't classify would be sent into the app for human intervention. And then what will then happen is that this enhanced data would be returned to the model and would form part of the analyzed data set. And now for some information around our model.
So we try to build a model using Python and TextBlob. So the first step was for us to perform data cleaning, removing the variable with a majority of missing value or the special character that could throw off the model. Then using the machine learning library TextBlob, we perform spelling correction and we computed a score from the text entry from the user called the polarity score, ranging from -1 to 1, and the higher the score is, the more positive is the sentiment in the user comment. Then to try to determine if the model was accurate, we try to use this score and the other variable in the dataset to predict the label of this review entered by the user, positive or negative review. And as you can see on this graph, when we use all the variables in the dataset, including the score from TextBlob, but also the location of the incident and the type of the accident, we achieve an accuracy of 83% in predicting the positivity or negativity of the review. And when we use the text scoring from TextBlob alone, we achieved a review of 80%. Then the next step for us was to see how can we improve this metric of accuracy. The idea we had is we could use an application where we could extract the 20% of data that have been mislabeled by our model and then ask user to identify if the command contains sarcasm, specific building term, and to assign a score. And then with this score from user, we could integrate this in our model in order to achieve an higher accuracy. So Andrew have been working on performing building this app using Power App, and I will let Andrew explain himself how the app is working.
So we have made an app that allows a user to come in and mark whether a comment is sarcastic, whether a comment contains text that would be deemed specific to the construction industry, and to give it a sentimental score so it can be compared against the model and see if we can improve it. Now when you come into the app, you can see a list of the different comments that you can go into. You can select one, comes up with the comment at the top and the type of the comment that was recorded into the database. You can then record whether it's sarcastic, construction term, and give it a score. So in this case, it's a bit of damage, so I'm just going to give it a negative score of 0.5. You click on the tick and it goes back to the database and it updates it in the background. Next comment you choose, it comes up. Now this comment, it looks like this person's been a bit sarcastic with this person called John. So you can tick the sarcastic box, give it a negative sentiment, tick it, and it goes back to the front screen.
For our future improvements, we were looking to launch the app to the public. The next thing we were looking to do was to further train the model to be better able at picking up construction terms and British English. And then we were also looking to improve the accuracy of predictions over time through increased data. Lastly, we were going to compare the sentiment scores from the working model to the sentiment scores from the off-the-shelf model to establish our baseline. Thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions? So for the first question, sentiment scores can be used to identify morale on a construction site. This would allow the site manager to create action plans to improve morale and support health and well-being initiatives. In terms of how to integrate it into a construction environment, what we could do is add this as a key performance indicator for the construction manager to monitor and take action when there is any negativity. Thank you again for your time.